Hey, real quick before we get into this video, this upcoming Tuesday on January 21st, I'm hosting another Union Arena online tournament. It'll be 5 boxes of Demon Slayer cut across the top 16. So make sure to check it out, linked in description. There will be Demon Slayer legal to play and also proxies to be played, since I know the full release isn't until next Friday either. So make sure to check it out if you haven't already, and enjoy the video. Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and to celebrate the release of the Demon Slayer Star Deck here in North America, we're going to do a quick opening of this, show what cards are inside, and then we're also going to have an example deck list upgraded with new cards from the new set that launches next week too. So really excited about this, and let's just jump on into it. All right, I removed some of the tape on it, but let's open this guy up, and let's see what's on inside. All right, so we do have a deck here. We also do have a playmat, and I have seen this. It looks really nice. Like, honestly, I wish that there was a more official playmat of this, because this is a really nice looking playmat with all the Hashira here. Very, very nice. It has the quick play rules and how the game works and such. So we're going to put that over here. And there are chances for some hits in these two. There are ways to get like alternate arts of the super rares in it, as well as the action points. Those have some alternative hits too. But we'll go here. I think those are at the end, so we won't know until the end. So there's just a good amount of like generic cards for the deck and stuff, but we have the Zenitsu, which I think this card's really good for consistency for it, because most of the deck are like the Nezuko and Tanjiro versions, but this looks up top 4 for Tanjiro, Nezuko, and our Inosuke, and you're able to add those to your hand, and then you have to put one card into your sideline. These are just alternate arts of these two, so we do get 4 of these. And I do like that, even though like we do have like the these are just main set cards, that the arts are different inside the star deck too. So we have Uro Kodakai here, which is just a being able to switch to resting to give something a plus 1000 BP, which is nice. We have the Crow, which is the temporary double energy. We get 2 of those. We have the Vanilla Tanjiro. Again, this is a card from the set, but we need these because it's the there's honestly like not a lot of raid in this set, which is really interesting. So we do need Tanjiro because it's one of the few ones. We also have Nezuko as well. It is another 0 cost, and it is something that we need to play in the deck because there's a raid Nezuko, though. The fact that it doesn't have like a get trigger, but it can be boosted up to 25k BP during your own turn, as long as you have a Tanjiro summon on the board. We have Canal with which is the active double energy for yellow here. So if it's active in your energy line, you get the double energy. We have Inosuke, which this card's really, really interesting. It has impact 1 on a 1 cost card. And then also, if on frontline, if this character is active at the end of your attack phase, you have to sideline it. And also, when this character attacks and loses a battle, you have to sideline it. So it can get some like early pressure, but then you kind of lose it later due to like if you don't bump it up to enough power, your opponent's gonna have a hard time, answer. Like they can just block it and then it just gets KO'd. So there's that. We do have our final trigger, which is the total concentration breathing, which you get 2 of these here. We also have our special trigger, so it is a being able to it's based off Tanjiro, right? 3,000 or less, and if Tanjiro it's 5,000 or less BP, you get rid of. Pretty standard there. We have Vanilla Zenitsu, so this is a unique card for the starter deck. I'll put away all of the non-unique cards for this here. All right, there they are there. We have Zenitsu here. We have 4 of these. Just a vanilla 2000, so not too bad. We have another Tanjiro. This is a step version, so we are able to use this to get 3000 BP. It's steps. You can put it back and it has an active trigger. So the fact that it's named Tanjiro is really good too, and there's some reasons for us to want to like move it around energy lines. When we go over the example deck list too, you'll notice that this deck like bounces between the energy line and the front line a lot, so that's pretty good. We have the raid Tanjiro, and there's something different. I think this is different from the last couple, is that the regular art goes to the front and then there's the foil version at the end. So we have that. We have Nezuko. We have 2 copies of this. It's a action 2. When played, choose up to one of your opponent's characters with 3 or less required energy, and you get to sideline it from the front line, so not too bad, and has a get trigger, so not too terrible for there. We have Sabito here. When played, you give something plus 1,000 other than itself, so we do get that. We have Inosuke, which is this a vanilla, but is a double energy and a 3K, so that comes up sometimes for the deck. There's not a lot of double energies in yellow right now that are cheap, so this actually is not too bad, especially because we can find it from the Zenitsu from earlier. We have Tomioka here, again, one of our super rares, which will have a foil version at the end. And we also have, so this has just impact 1, and then when choose one character your opponent's front line and switch it to resting, you get to draw a card, so you can get like an attack in, which is nice. We have Round Boulder, which 2 copies of this. You get to activate main, switch to resting, and sideline this site. All your characters get 1,000 BP, so that has a big boost for the turn. We have Comrades as well. Look top 5 for Tanjiro, Nezuko, Zenitsu, or Inosuke. And so it's kind of like the 2-drop Zenitsu, but you don't have to discard a card. And then we have the Tanjiro here. So again, this is the super rare for this one. We didn't get the alt art super rares. We still have chances for the action points. So we have that there. We have the Gyu here again. And then we do have, ooh, we actually got the foil action points. Oh man, this is crazy. Oh man. Oh, these are really nice. All right, I was not expecting this. This is really, really cool. So the first time I pulled foil action points was from a Japanese starter deck, and I'm like, oh, are these just standard for these? But no, these are one of the hits from this one. This is really, really nice. Oh boy. All right, thank you very much, Bandai Gods, for the foil action points. These are really nice. So these are also great because like your yellow deck is based off of Tanjiro and Nezuko, so to be able to have both these on the action point stuff, man, I'm super happy. So. All right, that aside, you will likely not get these. My apologies, but we lucked out on this one, and that's super cool. So that was what was in my starter deck here, and let's go to the example upgrade deck for this one. All right, real quick before we get into it, this is the exact 50 you get from the starter deck, if in case you're interested. And if you ever want to find this information on the fly, you can just go to my deck builder on Eggman Events, go to Home, go to Union Arena, go to Structure Decks, and you can find the full 50 right here. So if you ever need that information, it's here. And the other starter decks, you can see we do have that in here as well. So you can check that out if you ever need to. But my example deck is this one. It's based on Tanjiro and Nezuko. There's a lot of kind of synergy with it, and it's a really interesting deck when you kind of look at it. So going through the 0 cost, we're playing the Nezuko and the Tanjiro, and then for our kind of like 10th and 12th copies, we're playing Mitsuri, and then also we're playing the Obanai. So I don't know which one I like a little bit more. This one's just, you know, a 2K 0 cost that has a draw trigger, and then Mitsuri being able to pressure a 4K BP by just playing 1 action point is not too terrible late game. It kind of forces your opponent to either block or lose something in most situations. So I generally find like yellow has like these, you know, we run out of steam kind of late towards the game. So being able to pay 1 action point is not too terrible. So we're doing a 2-2 split. If you like one more than the other, go for it. I also want to try to maximize the amount of triggers in this deck, which most cards in this deck do trigger right now. Which is really, really nice to, you know, get a lot of extra advantage and resources from the cards in our life area too. So going to our 1-drop, the only playing card we're doing is the Nezuko, which also there's this kind of weird thing in our version of set 1, if you guys haven't noticed, where we get a couple of set 2 cards mixed in, and these, as far as I know, I believe these are like promos for set 2 that we're likely not getting in another way, so they're just in set 1 for us. So this Nezuko is really strong specifically for this deck. If on energy line at the start of your attack phase, choose 1 character on your front line and swap it with this character. So there are some ways you can swap things between lines, and that's additionally advantageous from this Tanjiro, which is also from set 2. So during your turn, once per turn, when a character on your field moves during your attack phase, choose up to 1 character on your field, and it gains 1,000 until the end of the turn. So you can give this Nezuko plus 1,000, but you'll see that there's a lot of other mixes and matches between that. Also, the fact that this gets double energy, again, this is a pretty low resource, and this came out in set 2. Like I can't imagine like vanilla set 1 where we had like no double energies for yellow that were really convenient. So we are playing 2 copies of Inosuke because of that. It also is searchable off the Zenitsu. So this card finds like every card in our deck, right? It finds everything except for like the other 0 cost, but everything else this card can find character wise. So I think it is worth playing. We also have the 2-drop Nezuko rare from this set. So when played, if on front line, if Tanjiro is on your field, choose up to 1 character, 15 more BP, and he loses 1,000, so you can attack into things a little bit easier, which is kind of nice. And then we're also playing the 2-drop step version of Tandro as well. So one thing I probably should have led with this too is that we're only playing 2 copies of this color triggered Tandro. And generally, a lot of people in most decks play 4 copies of their color trigger. It's the restriction for it. Usually it's really strong. And I will say 2 things. One, yellow probably has one of the weakest and most circumstantial color triggers in the game. It's generically not as good as I think as others are. And so it's a little bit, you don't feel as bad if you miss it. Like sometimes you do get like the stun, which means you can go for game like on the next turn, but it's a little bit more situational, I find. And then second, all of the color triggers for yellow are double action point cost. So the fact that we have to spend 2 action points to play this outright, like there's not like you'll see like most other archetypes and like genres, they have like these like 1 cost, 1 action point, 3 energy requirement, like kind of useful color triggers. Demon Slayer, they missed the memo, I expect, because like this one and the other one for yellow, they're not very good. So we're playing like 2 copies. If you do not like this card, do not play it. You're not forced to play a color trigger. I think in this archetype, you can not play it and feel fine. So, but this one is a double action point. When played, choose up to 1 character with 3,000 or less BP on your opponent's front line and sideline it. So it's not like a bad card. We're playing 2 copies of it, and it is a Tandro, so it does help our kind of loop mechanic. So, lastly, we'll kind of go over that as well. So. We have this Nezuko. So during your turn, if Tandro is on your field, this character gains 5,000 or 500 BP, so it becomes a 4,000. And then when attacking, you may choose 1 Tandro on your front line and 1 other character on your energy line and swap them. So what you're able to do is that you're able to, and this is when attacking, right? So you can have this kind of loop of kind of abilities for you. So for example, we have this 4-drop Tandro, which does have impact, which is nice. And then also when played out to 1 Nezuko with 3 or less energy and 1 action point from your sideline to your hand, and then play up to 1 Nezuko with 3 or less and 1 action point from your hand, set to resting on your field. So what you can do is you can raid into this and you can raid into Nezuko, but then you can just like do the thing where you attack with this, you attack with Nezuko, you swap them. This also will give Tandro, this will give something plus 1,000, which can give itself the plus 1,000, which is really nice. And then you also have the Tandro from the set too. So if Nezuko's on your field, this gains plus 500 and impact until the start of your next turn, which is really nice. So you can see like the sequencing, the cycling for it, which is cool. The fact that also like if we just have like these Tandros in our backline and we hit one in our life and we can do a raid trigger, we can do some really good stuff with that too. So that's kind of how we do. We just kind of get a lot of attacks. The fact that we can present 5+ attacks means that we guarantee damage as long as your opponent doesn't have it like a double block or something like that, and that could be very, very strong in a lot of situations. So we're kind of like more tempo aggression, and then we can get some extra advantage from that too. So we're playing 4 final trigger, 4 special trigger as well. You can bump down to 3 copies of this if you don't need it. I find like again we don't get as much like card draw in this deck compared to other decks, so you do generally kind of run out of things to spend action points on. So sometimes you can take this out. And then also there's another Tandro from the set. This one is, you can play it like 2 copies, especially if you don't like the color trigger. When played, play up to 1 Nezuko with a cost of 2 or less required energy and 1 action point cost from your hand set to resting on your front line. So this one is specifically kind of made for this one. You play it in your front line, and then you're able to give something minus 1,000 BP. And then like if you have this one in the back line, you can swap them, and then this can get buffed to 3,000 with this one, right? So there's like a lot of different little ways to gain like a little bit of an attack boost and kind of swap your characters around to also like generate the energy you need. And it's really interesting. It's a really interesting deck when it kind of comes down to it. So this is my build for it. I hope you guys check it out. And if you have any kind of different cards you guys like or any different builds, I'd love to see them too. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll make some other decks for the rest of set 1 for Demon Slayer in the next couple days, and I'll catch you guys then. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.